everyone, Richard Tran here, the Healthy Aging Doc, and we've been having a lot of questions lately on how different things that we do in the office are really tied together, particularly in terms of a technique that we use called applied kinesiology, which actually incorporates a lot of muscle response testing. Now you kind of see us either in the office or maybe outside in the community. We do a lot of this muscle testing, and people are amazed sometimes to be able to see how we can demonstrate how the muscles are intricately networked in with the body to be able to give you that type of information that we need to be able to see what we need to do to be able to help you. And some people are just amazed because they're able to see results almost instantaneously. Well, this segment here, I want to be able to help explain how muscle testing works, give you a little bit of just an idea of how it works here in the office so that it helps you to be able to make more sense of it. When we use the body's muscles, it's actually used as a interactive assessment that we use in line with the patient's history. Usually we try to find out as much as we can about a person's health issue. We combine different elements together, looking at things like their x-rays or any lab tests that they have. We do a lot of functional assessments here in the office, and when you combine all those things together, it really gives you a better idea of where the weak links are in the body. But it's often difficult to actually determine what is it that the body actually needs in order to really help it out. Let me give you a kind of an example if you can visualize this. We have a lot of patients, maybe sometimes they might come in with different things like a headache. Now, a headache can be caused for various reasons. One of the typical reasons you might go into, let's say, a chiropractor's office is that the headache might be looked at because of a misalignment issue. There's different vertebrae that are within the neck, different areas of the spine that can become misaligned and irritate the nerves that actually come out from those areas. When those areas become irritated, then a headache can actually become one of the symptoms to be able to, that can come about. So a lot of times rendering a chiropractic adjustment helps to realign the body, be able to take off some of that pressure so that the person's symptoms with the headache are abated. But if you take it from another point of view, we've had various people that have come into the office with the same types of symptoms of a headache that is usually helped out with the chiropractic adjustment, but then they may come back on the next visit and they have the same headache issues going on. Well, that's when you need to dive into the issue more deeply. If, let's say, the headache was caused due to a toxicity issue, maybe something that they were eating or something that they were breathing or some type of emotional stress, well, that's a different type of issue that can be irritating how the body is showing up in terms of that headache. I mean, you could adjust those different areas and do some realignments, but until you address the toxicity factor or the foods that are actually aggravating the body, the headache's just going to come back. So what we do as part of a functional assessment is we're able to use muscle testing as a way to help us determine where the imbalances within the body actually are. And better yet, what is the best form of therapy to actually apply to the body in order to make it function better. And there are certain areas within the muscles we may find that are actually weak, and they may respond for a variety of reasons. Sometimes it's a physical reason that maybe the muscle is not working. Maybe sometimes it's a biochemical or some type of organ imbalance. Sometimes it's the person's emotional patterning that's actually contributing to the inherent weakness. We don't necessarily know at that time, but we can utilize muscle testing as a way to help us determine what to actually do. And there's various things that we can incorporate. This is, for instance, some reflex testing that we do. Chinese acupuncture actually has these different points along the body that can be used as access points for the body's various organ systems. We can use muscle testing in a way to determine whether a certain organ is actually out of balance and contributing to a certain problem. You know, there's other things like emotional stress. There's biochemical things. We can actually see whether a certain nutritional supplement it would actually be beneficial to help us hold the body's correction. We can see whether there's a toxicity factor like foods that's actually aggravating the system too. All this we can actually do through things like muscle testing. So let me bring in a visual example for you guys so that we can make this practical and you can understand it a little bit better. Okay, welcome back. So I wanted to give you guys more of a visual example of how muscle testing is actually works here. So this here is Dr. Michelle Sue. You know, she was complaining about the various shoulder problem that she was having, and we can go into this a little bit, but Michelle, do you want to tell us a little bit about what's going on?
This shoulder has been bothering me, and I have trouble raising my arm on this left side here.
Okay. Okay. And how long has that been bothering you for?
A few days.
Okay. Okay. So there's various things that are going on. It hurts you to be able to raise your shoulder up a little bit past like 90 degrees or so, or you go up beyond here. Is there any discomfort with that there?
Just a little bit.
Okay.
It just doesn't feel the same as the other side.
Okay. So let's go ahead and do some comparisons with the other side here. Now, if we raise the other side, we're able to really raise that over her head. And the thing is that that's the type of motion that we really want to be able to see. Here, it's actually stuck right about here. There's something that's hindering it. And there are various areas of imbalance. If we're to take even more of a structural based approach, you know, just to help you guys make sense of it, there are various muscles that are in charge of being able to move her shoulder. And there's various tools that we can be able to see where the imbalances actually are. So let's test a couple of muscles to see what's actually going on with Michelle and to be able to see where the imbalances are. Now I can feel a lot of tension up here within her upper trap and shoulder area here. It's probably one of the areas that's really restricting this motion here. But let me go ahead and test various muscles in her shoulder. You take your elbow and then keep this up. Don't let me push it down, okay, Michelle? Okay. There's no strength there at all. Okay? Let's take some other muscles that are related here too. So go like this. You push up. That one works. This is the tricep. Push down. Only push up. That one works there. Have your elbow straight. Push up. Okay. There's one that doesn't. Now there's a couple of different muscles. Push back, only push forward. There's a couple of different muscles that are restricting her from being able to raise her arm. Okay? When you try to raise it past a certain level, it just doesn't want to move. Okay? And we can tell that if this muscle's not going to be working, she's only going to be able to raise it so far. Well, there are various tools within the office, and sometimes we may actually have a person touch various areas. Sometimes we'll utilize different things like a laser to be able to see, a cold laser, to be able to see what's actually going to get these muscles to actually fire better. Okay? So this here is actually a cold laser. We may do another segment on this another time. But it's a way to actually help muscles to be able to go back to a state of normalcy. Okay? There's a colored light that actually comes out from here, and if we go ahead and put it onto this area here, go ahead and you hold on to that. If we go back to the area of muscle of the muscle test, go ahead and push on up now. Big difference. Okay? And go ahead and have this up here. Push. Good. Okay? So we know that from this that there are various areas that are going on. If we shine it in other areas, it's not like it just, you know, be able to render some kind of correction anywhere in the body. You know, we have to be very specific on where to actually apply our therapies. It's here in particular, push on up, where it actually makes the difference. And one of the things that I knew to actually go here is because that's where the muscle actually roots from. This is her deltoid that we tested. At the same time, I also know a little bit about Michelle's history. There's kind of a mastitis that's been kind of a chronic issue that's going on here. Sometimes that prevents some of the lymph from draining. So that may actually be some of the factors affecting her shoulder motion. The laser is being used as a therapy in a way to help drain some of the lymphatics and to allow for the muscles to be able to regain their function. Okay? So if we go here, push, we have muscles that operate a lot better, and from that we're able to, wow, okay, we're actually able to get the body to actually work better as well too. Now that may not be the only thing that she needs, but I wanted you guys to get an idea of how we can render certain types of corrections. There may be other misalignments that are going on within the body. There may be other imbalances that we may need to address in other visits. The best thing to do to really understand muscle testing is to really be able to experience it for yourself. We're more than happy to be able to answer some of your questions about these things, be able to demonstrate on you various areas of imbalances. You're free to check out some of our workshops, and from that, you'll come away better educated on the various tools that we utilize, but you also become more educated on where your imbalances are and what you might need to do about them. So feel free, email us anytime. Comment on this YouTube if you have any other questions, and we're more than happy to help. Thanks a lot.